is out of town. I believe she is in Belfast. There's some kind of big Anglican group gathering concerning some indigenous people and things like that. She was invited. So that's where she's at. She'll be gone this Sunday and next Sunday. You're stuck with me next Sunday also. So anyway, I don't know about that. I'm not around a whole lot here anymore because I'm on the supply list for the diocese now. So all these churches that they don't have enough money for a full-time priest. Occasionally they'll need someone to come in, so I go help them out. So I'm doing a lot of things, just semi-busy. So anyway, do not have a lot of announcements. Today we're celebrating Pride Sunday for Pride Month. It's a special service. Your preacher today is the Reverend Deacon Pat Grodt. I heard her service at 8 o'clock, and her sermon at 8 o'clock. It is really good. So it's something to look forward to. Anyway, I don't have much more announcements than that. David, do you know of anything else?
We have some special music, thoughtful and special music for the 4th of July next Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It'll be quiet due to the fireworks the night before, but it will be real nice stuff, including himself on the drums in the morning.
Yeah, we've got this tradition we've gone on for about a decade now, that on the 4th of July service, or somewhere around that, we always end the service with the Stars and Stripes Forever. So I get to bring my drum and play on it, and I think he's going to bring in some other musicians this time. It's always fun. So, yes, sir. Obviously, we have an announcement.
Well, we had the work day yesterday, so I always want to take time to thank everyone by name who was here, but I never remember anyone's names. So I'll assume all of you are here, and thank you all participating in spirit, if not in body. You look at the front grounds and stuff, there were people here who did that, not me, so it looks great. We did the hall, so make sure you stay for coffee hour and see how nicely cleaned up the hall is. I don't even remember or probably knew everything we were doing, but it was a really good work day. We did it in the late afternoon, so now I find some people want morning and some afternoon, and I have to think about whether I'll do a full Saturday and have people come and go. You could shake your hand no, Kim, so we don't have to. But anyway, it was a really great day, and I did want to make a point of thanking everyone who was here. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. And this is your junior warden. He didn't say the such. So if there's any issues. The fun thing about these committees and these work parties, it's church community. It's everyone going together and helping and getting things accomplished. In a building this old, and a congregation this old, it takes an army, a village, to keep things going. So we thank you, everyone who volunteers and helps out. Now, birthdays and anniversaries. I do have about 8 birthdays listed. So if anyone that I name is here, you know the deal, come on down. Brenda Crispin, Jack Peters, Caitlin Mack, Hannah Mack, Nina Smith, Donna Cozine, Beth Tupper, Kevin Mack.
I'm not on the list, but I'm not here next Sunday.
There you go. Would you care to share how many years you've been walking on this earth?
Well, on July 7th, I'll be 78.
And you've been here long enough to know that our usual routine is if you're up here, what wisdom have you gleaned over all these years that
Many
you can share?
years, yeah. Find one thing each day
to make yourself happy, because being happy means that you live longer.
And if you're happy, you tend to make other people happy too. Very good, thank you. So on your laminated sheet, thank you. The second prayer down, please. Let us pray together. Watch over your children, O Lord, as your days increase. Bless and guide them wherever they may be. Strengthen them when they stand. Comfort them when discouraged or sorrowful. Raise them up if they fall. And in their hearts, may your peace, which passes all understanding, abide all the days of their lives. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. May the Lord bless you, keep you, watch you all the days of your life. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you. Congratulations. Anniversaries. I have one couple listed, Robert and Bob and Deborah Moore. I don't think they are here, but we're going to pray for them. Third prayer down on your laminated sheet, our anniversary prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for consecrating the union of this couple in the name of your Christ. By the power of your Holy Spirit, pour out the abundance of your blessing upon them. Defend them from every enemy. Lead them into all peace. Let their love for each other be a seal upon their hearts, a mantle about their shoulders, and a crown upon their foreheads. Bless them in their work and in their companionship, in their sleeping and in their waking, in their joys and in their sorrows, in their life and in their death. Amen. I believe that's all for announcements. Just take a minute to calm our hearts and our minds as we prepare for our service. Thank you. Blessed be God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. us pray. Almighty God, you have built your church upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. Grant us so to be joined together in unity of spirit by their teaching, that we may be made a holy temple acceptable to you, through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Please be seated.
A reading from the prophet Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah spoke to the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the priests and all the people who were standing in the house of the Lord. And the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. May the Lord do so. May the Lord fulfill the words that you have prophesied and bring back to this place from Babylon the vessels of the house of the Lord and all the exiles. But listen now to this word that I speak in your hearing and the hearing of all the people. The prophets who preceded you and me from ancient times prophesied war, famine, and pestilence against many countries and great kingdoms. As for the prophet who prophesies peace, when the word of that prophet comes true, then it will be known that the Lord has truly sent the prophet. Hear what the Spirit is saying to God's people.
Forever I will sing the goodness of the Lord. Forever I will sing the goodness of the Lord. I will sing forever of your love, O Lord. Through all ages my mouth will proclaim your truth. Of this I am sure, that your love lasts forever, that your truth is firmly established as the heavens. Forever sing the goodness of the Lord. Happy the people who acclaim such a God, who walk, O Lord, in the light of your face, who find their joy every day in your name, who make your justice the source of their bliss. Forever sing the praise of the Lord. For you, O Lord, are the glory of their strength. By your favor it is that our might is exalted. For our ruler is in the keeping of the Lord, our King in the keeping of the Holy One of Israel. Forever I will sing the goodness of the Lord.
A reading from the letter of Paul to the Christian community in Rome. Do not let sin exercise dominion in your mortal bodies, to make you obey their passions. No longer present your members to sin, no longer present your members to sin's instruments of wickedness, but present yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and present your members to God as instruments of righteousness. For sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under law, but under grace. What then? Should we sin because we are not under law, but under grace? By no means. Do you not know that if you present yourselves to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one whom you obey, either of sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness. But thanks be to God that you, having once been slaves of sin, have become obedient from the heart to the form of teaching to which you were entrusted, and that you, having been set free from sin, have become slaves of righteousness. I am speaking in human terms, because of your natural limitations. For just as you once presented your members as slaves to impurity and to greater and greater iniquity, so now present your members as slaves to righteousness for sanctification. When you were slaves of sin, you were free in regard to righteousness. So what advantage did you then get from the things of which you are now ashamed? The end of those things is death. But now that you have been freed from sin and enslaved to God, the advantages you get is satisfaction. The end is eternal life. For the wages of sin is death, but the free gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. Hear what the Spirit is saying to God's people.
Thanks be to God.
Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Christ.
Jesus said, "Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of righteousness. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Thank you.
May we have eyes to see and ears to hear. And may we have hearts to care. In Christ's name. Amen. Please be seated. So today in Matthew's Gospel, we hear the word welcome. And it reminds me when Mother Carola, who is a supply priest and a friend of mine, told a story. So the story goes that she was awakened in the middle of the night. And of all things, what bothered her was the mission statement of St. Dunstan's that goes, all are fed, all are loved, and all are welcome. She was troubled by the word all. Now, I personally have not ever dreamed this, but I certainly have challenged others and the church on this particular topic. More importantly, I have challenged myself, wondering if I really believed that all were welcome, including myself, or did I believe that sin had the upper hand? Like Mother Carola, maybe we all need to be awakened to reflect on that word, and especially during this month of Pride and its significance. My friends, if you do not know the history of Pride, I encourage you to look it up. It isn't just about marching in a parade. However, those of you that were there on that day, we had a lot of fun. As we take the time to remember those who have gone before us and those who have died, may we see those who continue to struggle and who question if they are beloved children of God. Let me tell you, the struggle is real. And many who have struggled through the brainwashing, the name-calling, the marginalization, and the violence have ended up in a black hole. For some, finding their way out of that black hole of sin and death into life was a steep climb. For those who succeed, we can easily recall the day, as St. Paul references, when we realize that the power of sin has no dominion over us, whether that sin is our own or whether it be the sin of others imposed upon us. Jesus teaches us that even small acts of hospitality, such as offering a cold cup of water to another, are deeply rewarded as service to him. To someone who is struggling, who they are, or anything else for that matter, a small act of kindness can be life-saving. Looking around at our world, where do you see sin that leads to death? I see it in wannabe dictators who unleash fury against their own people to suppress dissent. I see it in individuals, people attempting to brainwash others to believe what they believe. I see it in impoverished people living in slums and immigrants living in what I will call concentration camps. I wonder if at times we believe that the essence of spirituality and holiness is a matter of following a bunch of religious rules. If that's the case, perhaps we have missed the mark. Rigid religious rules can tend to become obstacles to loving other people and to truly loving God. Jesus calls them burdens too heavy to lift. He points the finger at religious perfectionists for ignoring their own sins and focusing on the minor lapses of others. It all becomes this type of projection, an elaborate way of justifying ourselves by condemning someone else. Jesus had a way of cutting through all the hypocrisy and the nonsense that religious professionals generated. He said that true holiness is about loving God and loving others, all others, no exceptions. For Jesus, a truly spiritual way of living is about willing to give someone a cup of cold water on a hot day. My friends, it's really no more complicated than that. At the end of the day, it's about having a heart that is willing to give to others the same grace and mercy and unconditional love that we have received. For years, many LGBTQIA+ individuals have been slaves to sin. Some died because of it, and some still are in that dark place. There is a sin of believing the nonsense that others say and their actions. There is also the sin that exercises dominion over us, the sin of hiding our true selves away, the sin of not being who God called us to be, the sin of not being able to believe that we are disciples of Christ because our souls were crushed by those in positions of authority and power. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not speak to the institution who made us feel less than or fully human. You may think that this institution is different. Even this church is different. But if you know the history of this church, it was no different. In 2003, the diocese asked each congregation to engage in what it called a listening day. It was a meeting where congregations got together and were asked to have a conversation and to reflect upon what just had occurred with the consecration of an openly gay bishop. Unfortunately, the meeting here ended very badly, as many of us present witnessed one of our very own stand up and publicly proclaim that she would pay off the church's $10,000 deficit if the church made the whole LGBTQIA thing go away. LGBTQIA+ is not a thing. Our community, after all these years, continues to be oppressed through the vile words that spew from the mouths of our nation's leaders, church members, and those who choose to follow them. Fear lives on, my friends, making Christ's mandate harder. So how do we all respond to Christ's mandate to follow him, to welcome and love one another? Many of us referred to Pride Sunday as Freedom Sunday, something Harvey Milk, a gay activist, and others fought long and hard for. Among the many issues that the Apostle Paul tackles in his letter to the church in Rome is the nature of freedom. And here's the thing, where Paul sees freedom as obedience to the will of God, some think of freedom as the freedom to do whatever they want, freedom to be obedient to anything or anyone. This is a view of freedom that has disastrous consequences. We've seen this to be true over and over again. Letting sin dominate our moral bodies is difficult and deadly, whether its cause is from our own ability to accept who God created us to be, or whether its cause is a belief brainwashed in us by oppressors and imposed upon us by others. So the question is not whether you will follow something or someone, but who or what will you follow? Will you love and accept all, or will you oppress others for the sake of yourself? Paul urges us to a life in service to others and to God. Freedom from this perspective comes from knowing who you are and not who others think you are. Paul, therefore, invites the Christians in Rome, and he invites all of us to consider what the choice before us, what it is, whether it is to be obedient or free, but really rather to what will we be freely obedient. He knows that our human nature leans toward whatever seems to be the easiest. He says that God has granted us freedom in Christ to strive for all things that bring long-term happiness and eternal blessings. So where do we get that power? Paul suggests 3 places. 1, baptism, the place where God names us as God's own children, not because of what we have attained or what we bought or what we have achieved, but simply because God has chosen to love us and adopt us as God's own. Number 2 is Christian community. All those who are baptized into Christ's death and resurrection and that gather to remember the promises of God and encourage each other in lives of righteousness. And then we have prayer in the Holy Spirit, which draws us into relationship with God and neighbor and serves to remind us that we are indeed God's own children. My friends, I address these words to you, my community, who listen this day, and to those of you who care to hear. I encourage you to live by the Spirit, to be kind to one another. Hear the words of Cheryl Lynn Eiffel, a civil rights attorney and a professor of Howard University, who reminds us that culture eats ethics, culture eats courage, and culture eats integrity. And then, remember Paul, who believes that God has granted us the power to aspire to and to achieve more than our surroundings or culture offers. I say to you and to every congregation who has ever flown the pride flag, thank you. I thank you for continuing to do so. Even when our pride flag was sliced right off that flagpole out front, when it was stolen and taken away, hatred did not have the last word. You replaced the flag and you raised it up yet again. A friend of mine summed it up when he said that this act is not just a symbol, but it is a sacrament of your welcome. In Christ's name. Amen.
Please rise as able, embody your spirit for the creed of our faith and the prayers of the people. We believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all that is seen and unseen.
God, who calls us to work beside you in the field of creation, help us to cultivate the human heart and the world around us through the promise of your love. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. I ask your prayers for the church throughout the world, for Sean, our presiding bishop, Phil, our bishop, Rachel, Alan, and Pat, our clergy, and for all who serve the church. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. I ask your prayers for this congregation, that we embody the love and ministry of Christ, that we grow in commitment, compassion, and courage, that we would be a living sanctuary for all people. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers for this nation, for prudence in our public servants, for truth and clarity from our leadership, for civility among all people, for an appreciation of both civil liberties and social responsibilities. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers for all those throughout the world who experience violence, inequality, injustice, or oppression of the human spirit, that the choices we make as global and community neighbors may serve to help alleviate human suffering and support the diversity that you have made. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers for all creation, for the wisdom to live with respect and appreciation for all our relations, and for those who truly serve as stewards of your creation. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers for those living with chronic illness, for those known to us who are ill or facing challenges of body, mind, or spirit, especially those we name now. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers for the departed, for all those known to us whom we love but see no longer, especially those we name now. And
Your shepherd, as you know.
through the faithful stewardship of Christ, we ask. Creator, hear our prayer. I ask your prayers of thanksgiving for the verdant life on earth, for the loving friendships that sustain us in this life, for the spirit that sustains and inspires us, and for any special thanksgivings and blessings we name now. Through the faithful stewardship of Christ we ask. Creator, hear our prayer.
Gracious Creator, you know our needs before we ask, and give us more than we know to seek. Grant us the strength and courage to cultivate our lives and your creation in ways that bring greater healing and hope to the world, that we might realize the selves and world that you call us to be as those committed through our baptismal covenant to serve within the faithful stewardship of Christ.
Amen.
Let us confess our sins against God and our neighbor. God of all mercy, we confess that we have sinned against you, opposing your will in our lives.
We have denied your goodness to each other and ourselves and the world you have created. We repent of the evil that displaces us, the evil we have done, and the evil done on our behalf. Forgive, restore, and strengthen us through our Savior Jesus Christ, that we may abide in your love and serve only your will. Amen.
Almighty God, have mercy on you, forgive you all of your sins through our Lord Jesus Christ, strengthen you in all goodness, and by the power of the Holy Spirit, keep you in eternal life.
Amen.
The peace of God be always with you. Let us share with each other a sign of Christ's peace. Walk in love as Christ walked in love and gave himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice for love.
Blessed are the poor, the ones who have been humbled. They will find abundance waiting at the door. Now they have a place with nothing wanting, finally belonging, radiant with grace. Let us be assured, love has gone before. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the queer, for one way or another. Everybody wonders, am I welcome here? Love has saved a seat before the table, waiting for the grateful, laden with a feast. Cast away your fear, hear if you can hear. Blessed are the queer. Blessed are the all, no matter love or gender, joyfully together, answering the call. All that we've become, we offer to our neighbors. Once we all were strangers, now we have a home where our hearts are whole, where we are consoled. Blessed are the all, blessed are the poor. Lift up your hearts. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is right to give God thanks and praise. God of all power, ruler of the universe, you are worthy of glory and praise. Glory to you forever and ever. At your command, all things came to be, the vast expanse of interstellar space, galaxies, suns, the planets and their courses, and this fragile earth, our island home. From the primal elements, you brought forth the human race and blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. You made us the rulers of creation,
but we turned against you and betrayed your trust, and we turned against one another. Again and again you called us to return. Through prophets and sages, you revealed your righteous law. And in the fullness of time, you sent your only Son, born of a woman, to fulfill your law, to open for us the way of freedom and peace. By his blood he reconciled us. By his wounds we are healed. Therefore we praise you, joining with a heavenly chorus, with prophets, apostles, and martyrs, and with all those in every generation who have looked to you and hope to proclaim with them your glory in their unending hymn. So, Heavenly Creator, we who have been redeemed by him and made a new people by water and the Spirit, now bring before you these gifts. Sanctify them by your Holy Spirit to be the body and blood of Jesus Christ our Lord. On the night he was betrayed, he took bread, said the blessing, broke the bread, and gave it to his friends and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this for the remembrance of me." After supper, he took the cup of wine, gave thanks, and said, "Drink this, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Whenever you drink it, do this for the remembrance of me." Remembering now his work of redemption and offering to you this sacrifice of thanksgiving, we celebrate his death and resurrection as we await the day of his coming. God of our holy and righteous ancestors, Redeemer and Mother of Israel, God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, open our eyes to see your hand at work in the world about us. Deliver us from the presumption of coming to this table for solace only and not for strength, for pardon only and not for renewal. Let the grace of this Holy Communion make us one body, one spirit in Christ, that we may worthily serve the world in his name. Risen Lord, be known to us in the breaking of the bread. Accept these prayers and praises, O God, through Jesus Christ, our great high priest, to whom with you and the Holy Spirit your church gives honor, glory, and worship from generation to generation. As our Savior Christ has taught us, we are bold to pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Save us from the time of trial, and deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Christ is broken for the life of the world. Here is Christ coming to us in bread and in wine, the gifts of God for the people of God, holy gifts for holy people. All are welcome to God's table. Let all partake of a spiritual communion through the blessing of the Holy Spirit, who unites us one to another in our community to Christ.
For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice justice and joy. For woman or man, a place at the table, revising the roles, deciding the share, with wisdom and grace, dividing the power. For woman or man, the system that's fair. For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For young and for old, a place at the table, a voice to be heard, a part in the song. The hands of a child, the hands that are wrinkled, for young and for old, the right to belong. For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For gay and for straight, a place at the table, a covenant shared, a welcoming space, a rainbow of race and gender and color. For gay and for straight, the challenge of grace. For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear, or simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, a right to be free. For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy.
Rise as able, embody your spirit for a post-communion prayer. Almighty and ever-living God, we thank you for feeding us with the spiritual food of the most precious body and blood of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ, and for assuring us in his holy mysteries that we are living members of the body of your Son and heirs of your eternal kingdom. And now, Father, send us out to do the work you have given us to do, to love and serve you as faithful witnesses of Christ our Lord. To him, to you, to the Holy Spirit, be honor and glory, now and forever. Amen. Live without fear. Your Creator has made you holy, has always protected you, and loves you always. Go in peace to follow the good road, and may God's blessing be with you always, in the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen.
Go in peace to love and to serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.